Welcome to Cardboard Conjecture. We're a podcast about board games where we have opinions and conclusions formed on the basis of incomplete information. This episode of Cardboard Conjecture is brought to you by these great Saskatoon businesses: Amazing Stories Comics on 8th Street, Dragon's Den Games on 8th Street, and Breakout Escape Rooms on Faithful Avenue. Welcome to Cardboard Conjecture. I'm your host, Norm.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Ian.
And on this episode, we, of course, will be talking about games that we've been thinking about playing. And this episode's topic, Ryan, do you want to hit us up with this one?
Sure. We're going to go into pretend land and we're going to talk about games that we want to play from each other's collections. Of course, when we actually can get back to playing games together.
Cardboard Conjecture is proudly sponsored by Amazing Stories Comics on 8th Street in Saskatoon. They're the winner of the Joe Shuster Award for Best Comic Book Store in Canada, and they were also nominated in 2016 for the U.S. Eisner Spirit of Comics Retailer Award presented at Comic-Con. Amazing Stories' amazing collection of comic books, board games, puzzles, and collectibles can be found in their store or on their new online website. And welcome back. This is Cardboard Conjecture. We're going to go straight into thinking, doing, playing board games. And Ryan, this is my favorite IP by far. Please share with us what you got.
No, absolutely. So people will not know this about me, but I am right now in self-quarantine because I had I've been in close contact with a person who has tested positive. So I'm kind of like hanging out all by myself. So I've been kind of doing the trying to figure out some solo gaming that I could possibly do. So I have access to the Star Wars Unlock game. So the Unlock series is kind of like the Exit series that we've talked about in the past, but the Unlock it's just a deck of cards and an app you have to use. And the deck of cards, you don't destroy anything. That's just going to have a whole bunch of little clues on them and things that you have to combine together. And then the app controls once you figured out a code, you're going to have to enter it into the app or something like that. Or the app will have some sort of little mini game for you to play through. And I've been a big fan of the Unlock series. They're really well done. I really enjoyed them. Mm-hmm. And then they came out with an actual IP themed version, which was the Star Wars one, which I will have to say, if you like puzzles and you like Star Wars, which I think
that's me.
This is you. Right up Ian's alley. You're in for a real treat. I played all 3 scenarios that come inside the box. And they are all very well done. The first one, which is the Escape from Hoth, which you are just reenacting the very beginning of Empire Strikes Back, that whole Hoth scenario. But they do it really well. They integrated the Unlock series very good. The puzzle solving aspect of that one isn't as high. I would say it's very easy. Level puzzle solving just to kind of work your way through that scenario. Like you get an hour to do this, and I think I did that one in by myself. I did it in just over 20 minutes to get through that. But that's also because I know the plot line of Empire Strikes Back and that whole Hoth scene. I kind of knew some of the things that I was looking for, which was kind of neat.
Okay.
The second scenario, I'm blanking on the name of it as of right now, but it is not a it's not a Star Wars story, but it's kind of takes place in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Where you are trapped aboard an Imperial cruiser and you are trying to escape from it. So you are breaking out of your cell and you have to find some people that are going to help you get off the Imperial cruiser and make your way free. This one was what I wanted in the first scenario, because this one has also good puzzles, lots of great puzzles, little really good mini games for it. And there's one aspect of it too where you encounter, oh, I don't know how spoiler should I get. You
No,
encounter,
don't spoil anything.
yeah.
This is brand new.
So if you are a Star Wars person like us, you'll encounter something and you will know exactly what that something is supposed to do.
So, a Star Trek fan, and the answer is annoy you. No, sorry.
But because I knew that, I actually jumped to the end of the game, and I didn't have all the stuff that I needed to escape with because I had jumped so far ahead. I was like, oh, I had to go back and rewind.
Yeah.
It was actually really kind of funny. I was like, oh, I wasn't actually supposed to do that yet.
I missed something here.
The second scenario, though, I do have to do a warning that there is one puzzle that you do need more than one person to play, because it was essentially I just got the answer for free because I was playing it solo.
Okay.
Which was not as fun, but I do like what they kind of did. And then the third scenario, something about Jedha. You're Imperial trying to protect the kyber crystals that you're harvesting.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it was very good, very puzzly, very adventure themed. I'm not going to go more than that because that one, I don't think I can describe that one without spoilers.
Yeah, I think that was the Rogue One, one of the Rogue One settings.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. I just watched that this weekend.
Oh, that's one of my faves. Cool. So, what's your roundabout impressions of this?
Very well done. I want to see them tackle more IP themes, like I mentioned on our thing. I want them to do X-Files next. I think it would lend itself very well. But yes, I will definitely pass this one on to you guys because I think, especially Ian, you're going to get a lot out of this one. It's very cool done. Right, and then Norm, just because you're a Star Wars nerd like us, you have to try it.
Okay.
Well, I think that's Wizard Annie.
Right on. So that was
Star Wars Unlock by Space Cowboys, I believe is the company.
Cool.
Yep.
I'm gonna jump into some Uwe Rosenberg. I'm gonna talk about New York Zoo. Now, I'm going to talk about the game. I can't really talk about the gameplay yet because I haven't gotten there yet. I just picked this up a couple days ago, and what appealed to me right away was the artwork. The cover was so attracting to me, and so that got my attention right away. And I saw it was a Rosenberg, so I flipped it over and looked at it and read through it, and obviously picked it up. And it is. And prior to us starting the recording tonight, I was talking to Ryan about it, and I adore patchwork when it came out. And my perspective on patchwork is that when it came out and the proof of concept proved to be successful about the polyominoes building this pattern or filling in this pattern, right? That Rosenberg went on to do, I think every game after that had that polyomino aspect to it. And so this to me is kind of full circle coming back to patchwork, because in patchwork, you move this piton around this, I would call it a rondelle, right? The same kind of concept in New York Zoo where you're moving an elephant around a rondelle that has three functions to it. One function is that you're going to select one or two of the breeds present in that category that your zoo acquires one of, I think, 5 or 6 different breeds or animals. And so that's one of the spaces. And another one of the spaces is pick up a bay, like a cage bay, and that's where the polyomino tiles come in. And they're stacked in an order of progression. So the larger ones are on the top, and as you're getting to the bottom where you want to fill out little spaces, they get smaller. So progressively, the game patterns start to fit the depth of the game. And the third one option in this rondelle is reproduction. You trigger, of course, it's a zoo, right? You're trying to, and I love the concept that you're making attempts to populate these species, and each there's 3 or 4 migration points that affect different species. So the gist of the game is you pick up these tiles. Okay, so the objective is it's a race. Whoever fills out their zoo property first wins the game. Now, how you do that, you get these closure tiles of animal closures, and then you put animals in them. Now, every time you populate, you have to basically, it's like your classic ticket to ride, right? You cash in a set of. So if I have a 5 or 6 space pen of flamingos, the moment that I complete that set, my bonus is I take all of the flamingos out because I will ship them off to other zoos, right? I have the ability to retain one and put it into the interior houses. And my reward is I get to go to these bonus tiles that are space hogs. And there's only a certain amount, like a big Ferris wheel will occupy, a 1/6 of the territory that you have to fill in on your board. So I am just excited to sit down and put this one to practice, because I'm everything is triggering in my head that this is gonna be a real cool game. So what do you guys think?
It has flamingo meeples.
We know what's important to Ian. No, this is actually this is one that I went back and forth on when pre-orders kind of came out for it. I was wondering if I was going to get Jeff to get kind of like pre-order this one for us. I made the decision that I had lots of polyomino types of games already, but I don't know. It just seems like it kind of tries to do something a little bit different, but I have lots of polyomino.
Yeah. See, and I don't have that many. I think I only have Patchwork, right? So
I've got 2 of Rosenberg's.
Yeah.
I've got Patchwork and I've got Feast for Odin.
Oh, you've taken it to the extreme ends of the spectrum in regards to how
extremely
that is applied.
simple and extremely
you have
complex.
Bear Park too, Ryan, and
Baron Park, yeah,
which is not only that, but it's also animals.
Right, but that one wasn't a Rosenberg. That one was.
But it's.
I like
it's what I first thought of when Norm was talking about this.
I think what intrigues me is the set collecting aspect of it, and then you trigger a reward event that accelerates this race, right? So yeah, no, I mean, I'll let you guys. I'll play it and I'll come back again and do part 2 of this and let you guys know what I think. Because I mean, for me, it could be, yay, I found a really cool implementation of this straightforward mechanism, or it could be, oh, I have just the same game with a different theme, and a little bit, a bigger engine, maybe, So I'm open to whatever result happens with this.
What's also very important is that it's made by our friends at Capstone Games.
Yeah.
Or sorry, it's brought in and published by Capstone.
And it's published, I think, in Germany by Führerland Spiel. I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. They have a partnership. Have a partnership.
So cool. That was New York Zoo. If you like your polyomino patchwork kind of style stuff. Ian, I'm curious. What do you got?
Well, I mean, I haven't played a physical board game in a long time, but the 3 of us, did get together to play some Kingdom Builder online.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking.
Arena.
Yeah, and it got me thinking about Kingdom Builder, and I kind of discovered something about myself playing that game. So, because Kingdom Builder, for those who don't know, you're flipping over a card and it tells you what terrain you're going to build on, and then you have your little houses, and you're basically trying to spread them out across the board. But the key is that there's 3. Every game's got 3 different scoring opportunities at the end of the game, the goals that everybody's going for. And I realized that I just don't really like going for those goals. I just want to get my stuff on the board, but then you're not getting points, so you have to go for the goals. And I wonder, like, because I play some complicated games. Terra Mystica is one of my favorite games, and there's lots going on there. But I just can't be bothered to think out the strategy when I'm doing Kingdom Builder, and I wonder why that is. Is it because it comes across as such a light game that I just don't want to put the effort into it?
I don't know.
No, okay, this whatever you're proposing to us has got me complexed, because of course that's all I ever look at when it comes to like a game like Kingdom Builder. How do I score the points? That's what I got to do, and that's all I usually always focus on is what are the ways to score the points? How do I do that?
Yeah, I think I'm the same way with Kingdom Builder. I always look at what the goals are, and then I look at the map with the bonus stuff, and I go,
that's
how do I
literally
connect the dots properly.
Because that's literally the game of
Yeah.
Kingdom Builder, is how do you put your pieces onto the board that's going to best meet those 3 requirements.
I think what it comes to is because you get those cool special tiles, right? If you
Yeah.
build by the special places, you get the tiles that will do so you can like jump spaces and
Yeah,
and all
you
that kind of
need
stuff.
those.
You do.
Yeah,
And so you got to, and that's what draws me to the game, because I think that's all cool. And because you got to figure out how you can best optimize using those to tie it back to the scoring.
yeah.
But when we were playing it online, I was just like doing whatever. I didn't want to think it through. I didn't want to think about how best to use those tiles.
Here's the question to you then: is it because of the game, or is it because of the interface? Like, do you play that game?
That's a good
now,
point.
thinking back, do you play it differently if there's a tactile, if it's this dimensional quality out in front of you, or is it just one? I mean, is it that brain's like, I'm staring at a screen and my brain goes into Dodge Caravan mode and I'm a mouth breather, right?
That could be it. It could be the fact that it's online. Yeah, because I can't quite remember the last time I played it.
Or is it just the fact that you just got decimated?
Well, that's very true.
I'm only just saying this because I mopped the
Was it
floor
like
with you
60
Yeah,
to
that's true.
35 to 34 or something like that?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
But I just kept playing. I was like, I didn't even remember at points what the scoring things were, and I have to keep going back to look. I'm like, oh, what are we scoring for? Oh, right, rows this time, or columns, or by
And then you
water.
also made a comment or like, oh right, once somebody runs out of houses, the game's over.
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Yeah. And the powers that you guys had that were different than mine was that you were depleting houses from your stock, where mine were movement bonuses. Like I had a couple horses, and then I finally went and I was looking at the total going, oh man, I'm gonna have and I ended up having 12 guys just sitting, in my
I had two.
Yeah.
I had 2 of the special tiles that let me put 2 extra houses down.
Yeah.
Every round. So my supply got depleted pretty fast.
See, you blame us for stepping on the gas, man. You had your 2 feet on that accelerator.
Hey, that was my only bright spot that night, because then I got decimated in the game that I'm absolutely the worst at, which is King Domino.
Oh,
I've
right.
never won a game of King Domino. I'm horrible at it.
Yeah,
So
that one's
decide-
that one's very straightforward, that game.
But so did you, Kingdom Builder on Board Game Arena, is that something that you're going to recommend, or something that you're like, it's better in person?
I mean, it's hard to recommend Kingdom Builder because it gets so much flack, right? Like a lot of people will rag on that game a lot. I like it because I like those neat little additions to it. A lot of people don't like that you flip over one card and then you have no choice. That's where you got to build.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with it. I think it's a quick, easy game that I like.
Oh, that's part of the strategy, that you try not to block yourself in.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
want to make sure that you can fill in an area quickly so that you can jump over to another area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Kingdom Builder. Just the base game itself is so variable.
Oh yeah.
You're never gonna play the same game of Kingdom Builder twice.
This episode of Cardboard Conjecture is proudly sponsored by Dragon's Den Games, located in the Louis VIII Mall on 8th Street in Saskatoon. Swing by Dragon's Den Games and let Darren, Al, and the awesome staff help you out in search for great board games, role-playing games, miniature systems, and all of the related accessories. Be a part of their gaming communities that have scheduled events in their great gaming area. Dragon's Den Games, Louis VIII Mall on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
And we are back. This is Cardboard Conjecture, and the topic for this episode is our top games that we want to play from each other's collections. And Ryan, Ian, who would like to go first?
Well, let's.
Or
Sorry, I
should
don't
we
know
set-
how we're doing this.
Do you want-
Are we tackling one person's at a time? Like,
I
are we going to
think-
go after Ryan's and then
I
you
think
and me?
we'll do turns like we do on our top lists. And how about this? I'll start off by giving my approach to my. I always got to do a strategy. So for me, I told you guys I'm keeping a secret, and then I'm going to start off by saying whose collection it's from, who the designer is, and then I'll give you guys a little bit of time to process and go, oh yeah, I think I know the game, and then I'm going to obviously say the game, and then of course the most important thing is why this one. And Ryan, okay, so for those who don't know, for me, picking was kind of like holy moly, going from a one shelf to a library, because Ian's got a tight collection of under 150, and I think Ryan's looking at 150 in the rear view mirror about 5 years ago.
I think the total of my collection is your two collections put together.
Something like that, yeah.
Absolutely. So
Hey, were we supposed to order these? Were these in
yeah,
an
we
order?
don't. No, there's not a necessary. It's just like you could.
Oh,
See,
I
I can
put-
do
I-
it.
I put mine.
I put mine in order.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll do it. I'll just do it on the
ranked.
fly.
I
Okay,
ranked mine.
Well, hey, giving you some time, I'll start us off, and then I'll pass to Ryan, and then by the time it gets to Ian, you'll have this one dialed in. So I'm going to start off with an honorable mention. Okay, and I know that's cheating a bit, but this one you guys will appreciate the fact that it's in both your collections, and it's Village by Inca and Marcus Brand. And
yeah, you would really enjoy this one.
Yeah, I think you would like it.
I've got Murano. I love Murano. And then every time I mention that, Ryan, right away, you're like, well, have you played this? And I think, Ian, you've done the same thing, saying you must try this one, right? You got to do it. So that's my number 11. Okay. Now let's do the format here with the way that I suggested. I'm going to get my little screens here happening. So my number 10 is from both your collections.
Oh,
Okay. I think both your collections, if I recall correctly. And the designer is Simone Luciani and Danielle Tascini.
I know it.
What is it? What do you think I'm talking about?
You want to be playing some Zolkin.
I want to play some Solkin. Okay. Because this design duo, I think that's one of you, Ryan, that's one of your favorite design duos, I believe, because I think there's a trilogy happening in there.
Oh yeah, the Italian mafia.
Now, I think I can now respect absolutely without deniability, respect Ian's rules of you don't start a trilogy at number 3. So if I'm going to play this perceived trilogy, I got to start with this one, and I haven't. And I love the theme. I love the fact that there's this big funky cog on the board, and it's worker placement. So check. I need to play this game.
It's got definitely one of the coolest board game components I think ever created in the interlocking gear wheels. This is definitely the most elegant, I think, of the designs of the quote unquote T series.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to play this one. And it's
I think you'll
available on
just like
Board
the-
Game Arena.
I just think you'll like the puzzle of trying to time out everything, time all your actions out. in
Yeah.
ways that make sense.
Well,
think
and
you'll
I
like that.
love, I suck at it, but I love efficiency engines.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So that's my, no, I don't want to go too long on this. That's my number 10. So with approval, I think
Mhm.
you guys would be
Hey.
happy to teach me this game, because that's part of that
Absolutely.
component too. It's games from that is like, okay, you need
And I'm still exploring strategies that I haven't even tried yet in that game. And I've
Cool.
played it a bunch.
cool.
All right. My number 10 is a game from Ian's collection.
Okay.
It was designed in 1990, and it has a
Ah.
board. It has a board game rank of 1,390. Do you know what I'm talking about, Ian?
Designed by who?
Darwin Bromley, Stephen Cortiamonchi,
Oh,
and
man.
Larry
Probably Euro Rails,
Rosenani.
isn't it?
Eurorails. You've been
Yeah.
talking about this lately a bunch
yeah.
of times, and it's just got me that intrigued to try it. I like the concept. I like the fact that you're physically drawing on the board every time, because you said what, crayons?
Yep.
Is this
Yeah,
one?
it's got an erasable board.
Yeah.
You can wipe it off. Yeah.
It sounds really cool. Route building. It's got a lot of things that I just have to try this one at least once. That's why it's at number 10.
You got to expect though that it is a little old fashioned based on what you're used to, but
well, it's made in 1990.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Cool. That's 30 years old now. It's going to be dated, but why it's one of your favorites, I have to see it in person.
Okay.
Cool. Ian.
Okay. I took this from Norms, and I decided to go with Uwe Rosenberg game I have not played.
I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the pile now,
which I believe is kind of the third of his first trilogy, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it's Ora and Labora.
Yeah.
Because I love Agricola and I love Le Havre, and it feels like this is the one that kind of ties those together. And I want to give it a go. I've heard lots about it.
I've played it once, about 2 years ago. Yeah, and you know what? That's one of those ones. It's like, yay! Of course, I'd love to play that one again. It's that whole agriculture theme stuff. This one, I believe, is monasteries in France and Ireland, I think. Yeah, your monks just making produce. I don't want to.
This one goes on an honorable mention on my list, only because I think that I want to pick it up for myself at some point in time.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of the things that I really enjoy in a Euro.
Yeah.
I think it has beer, so that's good.
It does.
Like beer.
Yeah. Yeah, the Rosenberg stuff, if you like the Euro, this is, I mean, we had talked about him in the earlier segment with his patchwork stuff, with his polyomino stuff, and I think he did a good run with the agricultural themed games, right? Like as you mentioned, Agricola.
Oh, for sure.
What's the no, something up Isle of Skye? No, I was gonna say Isle of Skies, but there's another agriculture game that's not coming to the top of my head. I'm so embarrassed. But yeah, absolutely, I'd be happy to run you through this game. Excellent. We're at me, number 9. Number 9 is from Ian's collection, and let me see. It is it's 2019. It is designed by Richard Keene.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian, do you know what I'm talking about?
Does it involve people running and screaming and roaring?
Roar! Dynagenics. Yeah. For Ryan, what's the first one? Is it Dinosaur Island?
Dinosaur Island was the one that came out around the same time.
I've seen people playing this one. It looked interesting. It never drew me in. And then when you guys did your head-to-head review on these two games, everything that Ian was talking about was more intriguing to me than what I had witnessed. I think Adam was playing it Friday night at Amazing Stories. And I mean, I thought, oh yeah, cool. This is kind of novel. This is, interesting, and it's very Euro, and I can see how everything is, the interconnectedness of everything. But when Ian, you were starting to talk up Dynagenics, and then I think you basically kind of started pulling Ryan to your side with how the gameplay works and how it's different, but different in a better way. So yeah. I mean, I wouldn't turn down doing an evening of compare and contrast and play both of them. But I had to pick between the two dinosaur themed stuff, because I think I have maybe one dinosaur game, and it's for the kids. So yeah,
Well, I
Dinogenics.
sent out. Did you see? I sent out something to you where they're actually putting it on sale again.
Yeah, they're going to be they're going to be releasing their extra copies.
Yeah.
I think, because there's no conventions happening where they would normally have sold these. So I think they're putting them up for sale on
Surplus
their
stock.
website, on their own website. So I think they're just trying to get together to get their web store up and running, and then they're going to release it.
It's amazing how fast e-commerce is getting done for people.
Yeah, isn't that the
No
truth?
kidding.
Yeah, it only takes a world pandemic. All right, so
Speaking-
yeah,
okay,
my number
speaking of
9,
pandemic.
Dinogenics.
I'm just kidding. Okay. My number 9 is coming from Norm's List.
Ooh,
It is a 2016 release designed by Tim Pulls and published by Lookout Games. And the little description on Board Game Geek says, "Build your village in this epic generation-spanning resource management game."
I'm
So
gonna have to
Village?
say The Colonist.
I want to play some of the Colonists.
Yeah.
It looks so cool, and the fact that it has that Twilight Imperium length type of
4
gameplay,
phases.
and that they could talk. What does it say? Could take like 6 to 8 hours to
Mhm.
play through
Oh.
if you want. If you want to play all the generations from generation
Yeah.
1 through generation 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
that's
this one also
solo.
has, and this also has, like, you could just, like, just play the first 2 generations if you wanted to,
You
and
could,
that would be
pick
a
and choose
complete
whatever you
game.
want to do. Yeah, absolutely.
So again, it's got a lot of that stuff of the Euro-ness that I really like in games: resource management, long-term planning strategy. It's a worker placement.
It's yes, it's a worker placement, but it's basically, I mean, like the Rosenberg stuff. You have like 1, maybe 2 workers, right?
Mhm.
Pawns that you're moving around this village that starts to grow, and you're adding things, and as the
Yeah, it starts-
generational, oh
It
yeah,
starts small and then it gets really, really large by the end of the.
yeah. I think that's a cool aspect, is that the board grows as your game grows, right? So
You see, when I play it, I want to play the full experience. I need to try the full experience at least once.
okay, which means that we'll have to come into contact, both of us, with someone so we can both get isolated.
Yeah,
That can be done. No, I'm sorry.
I almost
I'm
put this
dark
one on my
horse.
list too,
Did you?
but I
It's
figured
very-
I gotta
yeah.
I gotta do if I'm gonna do a 8-hour game, I should probably do Twilight Imperium first to make Ryan happy. So
That's true. That's very true. You are going and the fact is too, for Twilight Imperium, if we just had just the 3, we could play a 3-player game. It would only take like 3 hours.
Yeah, and the unicorns are at New York Zoo. Yeah. No,
Cool. That was
flamingo.
my number 9.
Flamingo nipple. All right, number 9.
Ian.
Oh,
Ian.
it's me. Okay. I'll take this. Okay, first I got to talk about Ryan's collection. So,
We've now gone past.
and this
3
is
hours.
partially Board Game Geek's fault, but Ryan, don't add expansions to your collection because you're just inflating the size. You're juicing it. Because with expansions, you're at like 600 and something, but really you're at, according to this, 333. So you're just trying to make your expansion look, or your collection look, way bigger than it
Yeah,
is.
Is he-
that Board Game Geek thing. I agree with you.
Is he doing
they-
Jersey Shore? Is he popping his collar for you?
I don't like it that they include the expansions in your total game collection. That's
Oh no, they shouldn't. They gotta separate that somehow. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I gotta filter it out whenever I do that. Yeah, I
Right.
stopped adding it to my collection just because.
So Ian's number
Okay,
9 was
messy.
Ryan's collection gives him an eye twitch.
No, I picked Arkwright
yes.
because I honestly
Oh.
don't know much about it, but you guys talk about it all the time, and it
And it's
sounds
got
kind of.
paper money.
Spreadsheet,
yeah,
the
there you
game.
But it sounds kind of juicy and heavy, and
You
seems
like you've got some economic games in your collection that, yeah, this one could give some of those ones a run for their money for the economics
Mhm.
of the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
Oh, and it can be cutting. Like I'm telling you, you can tank someone's. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's cutthroat.
oh yeah. You could
But that's a good
completely.
economic. That's a good economic
Yeah.
game if it's cutthroat, because that's
Yeah.
what economics is.
Well,
That's true.
and the successful part of the game is that ability to potentially predict the volatility of the market compared to who's behaving in the market. Like
Mhm.
it's this whole Bruce Lee bend like a reed in the wind kind of thing sometimes.
Yeah. Because I'm a big fan of like Power Grid and Container. And so I don't know if this is similar to those, but
Okay. Well,
Yeah, no, this is a different beast.
is it?
Yeah.
yeah. Are you referring to the setup, Ryan, or just sorry?
Yeah, if you want to play this, let me know about a couple hours in advance.
Yeah.
Well, you've got the
Fair enough.
the
Well, I've got the insert. I've got the insert now.
Yeah.
So a setup only takes like a half an hour.
Oh, sorry. I just about hacked up a lung on that one. So we're on to number 8 for me. Okay, so number 8's out of Ryan's collection. And yeah. I mean, the designer alone makes me drawn to this. So it is, let's see here. It's 2020. It's
A brand new one.
Yeah, because you're not big on the culture.
I don't have very many brand new games.
No. You know what? I'll do the designed by Vitala Serta.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Already
it's
know.
2020, you already know who the artist is.
Mm-hmm. Ian O'Toole.
Yeah. And so what game am I talking about?
The 2020 release was On Mars.
Absolutely. I love me some Vitala Serta. I love me some Efficiency Engine. I love the anything space is definitely going to peg on my charts. And yeah, I haven't even looked into any of the how to play. Just on those few items alone, my brain is completely drawn to this game, and it's 8.3. If that means anything to anybody, it's just to me, it's like a very highly it appeals to a lot of people.
This one, I think I own now all the Lacerda games except for Kanban, which is coming to me very, very soon. Out of the ones, this one is the heaviest, the most complex one that I've played. Like we played the Gallerist.
Yeah.
I've played Vinos. I've played Lisboa. Have you played Lisboa?
Me? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And so, and like out of all of these ones, this one's got so many pieces to the puzzle.
I have Kanban, and I love Kanban because it just looks like this visual assault of choices and graphic arts. And On Mars to me had this idea of, wow, there is so many things to choose.
Because you're managing things that are happening on the surface of Mars, as well as you also have to manage the things that are in the space stations orbiting Mars as well, sending things down to the surface. And like I said, I could the teach on that one's going to be a long time. I'm just going to let you know that one. If you don't want to watch it, if you don't want to watch a video ahead of time, be prepared for a long one for the teach. There's a lot of things going on.
I am happy to, because I even if I play it once and then go, that was an assault on my brain, and now I can work for NASA, then okay. But I want to try it. So On Mars, Ryan's collection, that was my number 8.
Okay, my number 8 is in Ian's collection. I thought it was in Norm's too, but I didn't see it on your list. There have been 2 editions of this game, and I think Ian owns the latest edition, released in 2017, designed by Andrea Chiavezio and Luca Ianecco. Butchered it. Ian has recently reviewed this game, and that is Kingsburg.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'll admit
I used to
haven't
have
played,
it. Yeah, you're right.
I haven't played Kingsburg. It seems like one of those things that I think I should have played by now in my board gaming career.
Yeah.
Well, you like
worker
using
placement.
dice as
Yeah.
I
taking
do.
actions. You like
I
that.
do love games that involve dice to take actions, and this one seems to be one of the granddaddies. I think the first edition came out in 2007,
Yeah.
and so I'm just going to leave it at that. If you want to know more about Kingsburg, go listen to one of our past episodes. Ian did a very good review of it.
That's a
And I
great
need to play
tie-in,
it.
man.
Yeah, you do. I think you would like it.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah,
it's not overly
and the fact that you can
complicated
split
either.
you can split the dice up,
Yeah.
or you can combine them to take more powerful actions. Love it. Just
Yeah.
gotta have it.
And there's a little bit of blocking in there. If you're the turn ahead of the next person, you
for
can
sure
see
there
that they
is.
only have certain choices, and you can,
So
even if it's like, I don't need that gold, but I know you do.
So get this one too. So the description, like they have those new little mini descriptions on Board Game Geek.
Yeah.
So for Kingsburg, it says, influence members of the King's Court to grow your province and prepare for battle.
Oh yeah. Yeah. At the end
Sounds
of
like
the round.
I'm gonna get into like a minis game or something.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's yeah. That's a Ian. Yeah, you did a great job kind of breaking that one down in the review. Cool. Ian, what's your number 8?
All right, we're going to Norms,
Oh,
and I'm also picking a Lacerda game. And I'm trying to think what other clues I can give.
I think I already know what it is. Because Norm doesn't have that many.
Science-based.
well, I think I know already.
It's
There's a
CO2.
number in it. Yeah. CO2. I have the
So
original.
Yeah, I'm just intrigued by this game. A game about global warming is interesting to me. Now is this? Can you tell me? Is this like a co-op or is it one of those weird semi-co-ops?
It's I think it was the beginnings of this idea of semi-cooperative, right?
Right.
And the idea of semi-cooperative in this game came about because of the fact that, yeah, it can be a competition, but if you burn up the planet, we all lose. So it's this idea of we gotta make sure that this 1 meter, or like the ozone, I think it's the ozone meter, but I like to call it the burn up the planet meter, that you have to keep those levels in check, right?
So it's not overly on the cooperative side then. It's a little...
Well, now it comes down to this. I think I was playing a game with Dave, and Dave was stepping on the gas and pushing this meter up, and I, of course, was thinking, what do you, dude? I mean, we're all going to lose. So I started having to, make decisions to help bring it down, which again happens. It's a good simulation because there's countries that are like, we're burning coal, like it's going out of, like it's coming out of the ground.
Some
right?
countries.
And there's some countries that are like, we're solar, we're geothermal, blah, blah, blah. And it's, unless everybody gets on board, it's gonna, eventually everyone's gonna lose. And I think that was the message that Lacerda was trying to send out with the simulation. And I believe he created the update because his futuristic predictions when he designed the game, when it came time, I think it was 3 years ago, that he went, oh, I'm sorry, I have to redesign this and I have to actually make these a little more accurate, that we are not respecting what I thought we should have respected. And now it's looking a little more bleak, right? So I think that's the whole first gen, second gen. But yeah, I
think it's interesting that some designers can actually use the way that the game works to send a message. Like, that's impressive. And actually that takes me back to the first game you mentioned, Norm, Village, where there's definitely a little bit of a critique on the medieval Catholic system with the way that process works. And if you play it, you'll see what I mean. You'll understand what I mean.
I know exactly.
There's people that
mean.
critique the Catholic system.
Yeah,
What?
But yeah, anyway, CO2. I'm definitely interested in trying that one out.
Cool. Yeah, I'd be happy to show you that. Absolutely. So
Norm.
This one's out of Ian's collection, and this one's going to round out my. Now again, I'm not a collector type. Sorry, but this will round out my trilogy. This is when did it come out? 2009. Bruno Catala, Ludovic Maublanc, and published by Matago.
Yeah,
Any
and
guesses?
set in ancient Greece.
It might be, and it might be
Yes.
mispronounced by about 15,000 people.
Yeah, well, let's hear you say it.
It's Cyclades, Cyclades, Cyclades.
Cyclades.
Cyclades. I tend to like the Cyclades. I don't know, just because, I don't know, I am that way. But I have again another game, Kemet. I have Kemet and Inish. So
Yeah, okay.
I both those. I mean, Kemet's like I froth for that one, and Inish I'm just starting to get accustomed to it, because I got it just before we went into isolation. So it's just a matter of just reading the rule books and going, okay, I see where this DNA is common. So I heard I think you reviewed or you talked about. You
Yeah, I'm
reviewed.
pretty sure I talked about it.
Okay,
at
yeah.
some point.
Yeah. So that and of course, I mean the designers, the team, the publisher, check, all positive checks, and I love the mythology. I love the theme. So and I understand there's some really cool minis in that one too.
Yeah, it's a little less focused on the fighting aspect than Kemet would be, but it's got the auction, which is very integral to what you want to do. That's pretty cool and can get really cutthroat.
Yay.
There, so.
Cool. Yeah. So that's my number 7, Cyclades or Cyclades or Cyclades. All right, Ryan.
All right. Okay, mine's not as complicated to pronounce. And
yeah,
it's
Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan.
So it's coming from Norm's collection. 2009 release.
Oh.
It's one that we've talked about lots, Norm, that I need to play because of the designer and my love for the designer of Vladimir Sushi. And it is it's Shipyard.
Yeah.
Keep pumping this one up. I like Vladimir Suchi's games. Like, I really like Pulsar 2849. I really liked Underwater Cities. And you say this one's got really interesting things with like a rondelle within a rondelle, or like there's rondelles like everywhere. This game, and things are in motion, kind of like that.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that Zolkin type of feel of the future planning and how things move around. Really sounds very interesting. Even though I could get past the theme, it probably could be set in space or something like that. But I can get around that, or maybe it's Dragon Ball. Maybe it could be Dragon Ball themed.
I think you would. I mean, simply from the fact that you appreciate what comes out of the designer's creative mind, this would definitely be, even if it's just like an investigative research into this guy's repertoire. I think this will pick at your brain for a while, because there's just so many systematic things that you can do with this interconnectedness of the rondelle system, and then how it applies to the ships that you're trying to build in your shipyard, and of course the end of game goals. I mean, you know how Suchi works, right? There's choices upon choices, and then you have to narrow that thing down as you're going through the game. So if that's the designer that you're frothing on, then this is definitely where.
Yeah, because he's even got another one coming out this year yet sometime too. That's got some more interesting. I don't know. He's kind of like one of my designers that I've been really paying attention to lately, and this seems to be like one of the earlier designs too. So
absolutely.
Yep. Shipyard.
Cool.
I want to try it.
Ian, what's your number 7?
Shipyard. Yeah, Shipyard does look interesting. Number 7. Let's go with. Okay, well, we've talked about this game a lot, so I'm not gonna get too much on it. So I'm taking it from Ryan's collection. It's one that you guys have been bugging me to get.
I think I know right away.
It involves Iron
Superheroes.
Man. So yeah, Marvel
Hulk
Champions. I got to give
rage.
that a try. Actually, it could be either of the Marvel games, even though I borrowed one for like a month or two and didn't play it. But either of the Marvel games, I would really fit.
Yeah, no, you need some champions, man.
Yeah. We're not gonna talk about champions any more than we've already
Yeah,
beaten
no.
to death on this show. Yeah.
And
We're gonna
positively, no,
make
not
you-
negatively. I know this is this makes every comic book fan giggle. You get to create your own narrative comic books right there.
I'll build you a deck, Ian, and you can play it.
And most of the
Okay.
time, mine is Spider-Man gets beat up at school. Yeah.
All
cool.
right.
So
All right, Norm.
number six is out of Ryan's collection. And this one is, I wanted to buy this one, and Ryan said, wait, play my copy before you decide.
Oh.
All right. Everyone else. I don't know
I
what that
remember having
means.
this,
The
I remember this
designer,
conversation.
Tommaso Battista and Simone Luciani. And it is a 2019 release. And it is
which
similar
one?
to Power Grid.
Oh,
Nations vie for hydroelectric dominance
yeah.
in a dystopia where water is power.
So is it bad that I have so many Simone Luciani games that I didn't know which one he was talking about at the beginning?
It's Barrage.
Yeah,
I
Barrage.
want to play Barrage. Everything I've heard, well, it's solo, sorry. So okay, but everything about the theme, the talk up, the pitch, the mechanisms, everything all around that makes me intrigued, so much so that I want to sit down and I want to learn this game.
And I want to play it with actual people other than solo mode.
I'll jump in on this game. I like to play this game too.
So
Yeah,
am I correct in
I-
saying this is like a really cool version upgrade of Power Grid?
See that when Ian was talking to me about this one a long time ago too, he's like, what does it compare? What can you compare it to? I was like, I want to compare it to Power Grid. I've never played Power Grid, but I can see the kind of the thematic connections, but now that the gameplay is probably quite a bit different from that. So
Yeah, it looks
theme wise,
interesting.
yeah. Theme
'Cause
wise,
it has this thing where you got to like connect power from here on the board to over here or something.
yeah, and then the way the water flows
Yeah.
and the where it's going to get trapped, if it gets trapped into your dams, or is it the other player's dams that it gets trapped into, and then it gets converted into electricity over in somebody else's converters. And
I understand this is I think I can't remember. I think it was Rob that had mentioned it's all about efficiency.
mhm.
And
Yeah, because
sometimes
when you
I mean,
build something, you have to, it has like one of those like compass rose wheels where you put all your resources into it, and then it takes time for them to create the dam or
Okay.
the power structure. And once it gets all the way around, now you get to put your structure out onto the board, and now you get those resources back to possibly go into building it again. So there's a time efficiency as well to this, not just the resource management efficiency.
Cool. So yeah, Barrage. I do want to play Barrage.
This episode is proudly supported by the amazing team at Breakout Escape and Board Game Lounge from right here in Saskatoon. Using industry-leading technology, Breakout Escape's escape rooms are all 100% uniquely designed by the team, ensuring their patrons have maximum fun while staying safe. As well, they are a fully licensed board game lounge with over 400 titles to select from to ensure fun for every gamer, new and experienced. Be sure to check them out at breakoutsask.com. At Breakout Escapes and Game Lounge, they believe that life is more fun when you play games.
All right, Ryan, what's up?
Okay, my number 6 is coming from Ian's collection. He has actually already mentioned this game kind of off the cuff in this episode so far. And
Okay.
it is another one of these games that it is a newer edition that he bought, and it's the 10th anniversary jumbo edition
yeah.
of this game, and it's Container. I like, if you guys don't know, I like economic Euros, or I just like games based on economics, and this one really fits the bill. And I've kind of just missed out on those game nights that were from before when you would play this. And it just so happens that you played these on nights that I was like, oh, just couldn't do it tonight, or just couldn't make it out. And yeah, I really, really want to play it because this is a very player-driven
Very much
economy,
so, yeah.
and I really like that. So that is why it's number 6. It's creeping up on the list that I just need to play this one.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. Definitely.
What's the thing that appeals the most to you about this one, Ian?
Like Ryan just said, it's very player driven. Like it's an economy, but the economy doesn't happen if the players don't decide what happens.
Cool.
And so it's
so the speculation is
interaction.
all based on the interest that of the players playing at the time.
Yeah,
players get to set their prices for what they're selling, right? They get to set their prices and they have to adjust it based on what's
cool.
actually selling and what's not.
And then is the board seeded, or like how does this, like obviously the economy is shipping containers, right?
Right.
So
And there's like processes they have to go to before you get them, and then you have to like go to people's places and
pick up and delivery.
No, not
or
really.
Is it more like
it's just buying and
like
selling.
barrage where you're processing something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
Cool. Oh, right on.
But there's an auction mechanic too that adds quite a bit as well.
Cool. I think those are always, anything economics is always going to be tied with an auction element.
Seems that way, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ian. What's your
Okay, I'm taking this from Ryan's. It looks like it was 2018.
Oh,
so an old one for Ryan.
It's an oldie.
In Ryan's collection years, that's like 20 years old, man.
It's like Suburbia, but with more pencils. Ryan, do you know what I'm talking about?
Suburbia with more pencils. My game collection is so huge.
What?
Suburbia with pencils. Really?
It's a game called Welcome to.
Oh.
So.
Well, yeah.
Good.
With pencils. I get it now.
I get it now. I was like, what tile laying with?
I was dumbfounded. I'm like, what? Yeah. You know, you're actually flipping.
You would really like this one.
Yeah.
You would really like this one.
Yeah, because everyone's got their own little paper board that you're drawing on, and you're making your own town, and I don't know, it seems interesting.
It's three cards get flipped up every turn, and you get to pick which of the 3 cards you're going to use to draw in on into your neighborhoods.
Okay.
And the great one about this one is that you can, the number of players playing the game is limitless.
Like
you're only limited to the number.
I think, yeah.
Which is because there's 99 pieces of paper in the stack.
Oh, yeah. It's just a one and done game. You got 99 people.
Yeah.
And now your game's just exhausted.
And there's so many expansion themes. Like there's a Las Vegas, there's a Halloween, and
there's a Halloween, there's an Easter one, there's a Christmas one, there's a zombie apocalypse one.
Yeah. No, they took well advantage of the mechanism they created.
Or you can be like me, and now Jen and I have it. We have the app on our iPads that keep track of instead of drawing on a physical paper, you're just drawing on your iPad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially what you're doing. So we're saving up our sheets for when we actually have people over.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Welcome to. That's a great pick. Right on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my number 5. I'm going to say my number 5 is our first crossover.
Oh,
it's on both of our lists.
Number 5. No, it's
someone
mentioned.
Someone
picked it.
Right.
And the cool thing is how close of this pick it was. It's from Ian's collection, and it is Container.
Ah,
nice.
Which is why I kept asking questions, because I'm like, I might as well ask you now, because it's going to come in about 45 seconds.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, for everything that Ryan talked about and everything that you mentioned, Ian, that's why I'm so driven to like play this game. And the fact that the demand created a 10th anniversary edition, right? So it's like, okay,
And
it's
now,
like
and now the 10th anniversary edition you can't find anymore.
yeah, so it's like, all right, I would like to see what's going on with this game. So for everything that was mentioned, yes, Container. Number 5, moving on. Ryan.
Okay, my number 5 is in Norm's collection, and it's a game that I've always seen on the shelf at the stores, at both Dragon's Den and at Amazing Stories, and I know nothing about this game other than I like the theme and I like what I've heard about it, and that is it's designed by Xavier George in 2009, and it's Carson City.
Yeah. Some small
Seems-
town building.
Yeah, it seems
Interesting.
really, really. I don't know anything else. I don't know how the game plays.
So
I've
okay,
just-
so
okay,
Xavier
go for it.
George, that's the pull. What else was the pull?
Mhm.
The theme, the Western. Yeah.
The fact that it has this massive big box edition that must have had a whole bunch of other stuff added into it. Like for me, like bigger is better. Obviously, right?
Deluxified. So let's refer to our Deluxified episode. Now, I've never played Kalis, and I've heard people say that it's very Kalis-like in the worker placement selection down the little road, right? And it's work. I mean, you'll love it. Worker placement. It's tile laying. It's town building. It's adjacency. Connectedness, where some things will score bigger if they're adjacent to other things. You can't, the player interaction is that I mean, if you both want to pick a tile and you both put your worker there, then you're going to have a shootout, right? Over the tiles selection, right? I mean, usually it's like, you know, every worker placement, you block the person. No, not in this one. You want if it's a double worker placement, then you got a shootout. And there's some.
So how does that work?
That
I
was
might
the
as
part-
well. I'm just gonna jiggle my list here. So I might as well say that and move this down because I also picked Carson City from. Norm's
Okay, well,
collection.
let's talk.
So let's keep the convo going. So
It's all about this resource, right? So to answer your question on how do you have a duel, well, you have bullets, right? Now, it's what I hate the most is that whole player elimination, or that I deeply suffer a loss, right? So if you lose this duel, you don't lose your dude, right? It comes back to your pool, and because typically at the end of that turn, all of the workers that you have go back to the pool, and you have to, you know, re-employ these cowboys to work for your ranch to help develop your town, right? So
right.
The duel is just part of the resource process, where you might have at the beginning of the round, you select a character, very much like Puerto Rico, right? Where everyone who in a different initiative order gets to select a different player power, and they have that player power for the round. And some player powers might be, you know, extra bullets or extra, you know, advantages during conflicts. Some might be resources, right? I mean, just like that whole idea in Puerto Rico where some roles have different player boosts, kind of thing. And as you're going, when you act, so you do your player selection on this road that has all these different things you can do. And then like Kalis, you start at the back and you start to work your way down and activate all of these worker placement spots. And as you go to the end of the road, that triggers the end of that round. You go back, you reset things, and basically you're trying to get these tiles to build your village. And yeah, it's delicious. You guys would love it.
How thematic is it? How much of a Western does it feel like?
Thematic to the sense that the tiles that represent the buildings that you can build are very connected to what one would think as, you know, little dirt bowl Western town build, right? You'd have your saloons, you have your jail, you have, you know, your little church, and you have, if the church is by some houses, then it scores more points because you're building a community of the faithful, right? The ranches have to be away from everything, or else it's not a ranch, right? I mean, there's, I mean, like in any game, as much theme is built in as much theme as you want to believe is there, right? But they do a good job to have, I like to refer to it, those cognitive cues that you'll go, well, yes, of course this has to exist in this world. Yes, of course this has to exist in this world, right?
Okay.
And they make a pretty good job on making that connection, you know, pretty tight. Now, it's been a long time since, I mean, there's probably other games that have re-implemented this stylistic mechanism and probably have done it better, but you know, got to dance with the one that brought you. This is one of those early ones that is awesome.
I like to take a think that it's happened now twice that we are all kind of on, we are kind of like the same ideas, that we are picking some of the similar, we have huge collections and we've already done it twice.
Yeah.
Where that I think that's quite marvelous.
Back
that
to back.
We have been we've been able to do that.
Cool. Well,
Okay.
yes, I'll definitely be happy to show you guys this game. We're into the number 4, and my number four. You both have it, but you have different versions of it. And coming back to Ryan's deluxeified statement, this one is Lacerda, and this one is all about
Wine.
ambrosia, all about the wine, and this one's Vinos.
Yep.
I love the theme. Viticulture is one of my favorite ones, but I'm thinking this is gonna be
This would be a more thematic,
heavy, thick Euro. Like we're gonna get into the details of a vineyard and the details of the wine business, and I think I'm right in making those assumptions, and right in making the assumption that the design quality is going to totally be there.
And I like the fact too that this one also has kind of like a mini game built into it with the wine fair. So not only are you just kind of growing the wines and selling them or trading them, but you're also entering wines into a kind of like a festival, and you're going to get points. You're going to get wine festival points that will eventually convert into game points.
Cool.
But I really like that aspect of the game. It's pretty cool.
Now, I'm okay with playing either version because, I mean, Lacerda's Lacerda. It's not like one's going to outplay the next. I think there'll be different.
Well, my version,
yeah.
it has the original 2010 rules.
Oh, okay.
And on the other side of the board is the new 2016 rules.
Yeah.
Now, if I were to pick, the 2010 rules are where it's at because it's a much tighter game.
I believe that same application was done to CO2, where you can play the old rules rather than play the new set of rules on the new board, kind of thing. So no, I totally want some of this game. So Vinos number 4, Ryan.
Cool.
Perfect. Okay, my number 4. It's in both of your guys' collections. And you folks have talked about it a lot, and I really need to play it. It's ranked number 51 overall on Board Game Geek, and this is Robinson Crusoe Adventure on the Cursed Island.
Oh, I was totally caught off guard. Okay, yeah,
yeah. It's an adventure type of game where you're survival. The theme works. There's multiple scenarios to play through.
I forgot you had this
solo, cooperative. You name it. It just seems to check off lots of boxes. You guys have talked about it a lot.
And it's hard.
And it's one of those ones that, you know what? I'm surprised that I have not played it. I need to play this one. That's why it's in the top 5 here. It's number 4, Robinson Crusoe.
Ian, you give us some talk about Robinson.
Yeah, it's good with 2 players too. That's a good thing about it. It's so like, you know, if ever we were to play games again, Ryan, someday, right? That would be a good one for just the 2 of us to try on those days. But it really does feel like a stuck on a deserted island type game. Like it really fits that theme really well. It's got the exploration aspect, it's got the survival aspect, it's got everything.
I like the future consequences aspect to some of those
That is
cards.
great. Yeah.
Yep, I want to
Yeah.
play that one.
Right on. Ian, number 4.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so this one's from Ryan's collection, but I don't know if I've ever heard him talk about it.
Oh, he's talked about Dragon Ball a lot.
Yeah, no, this one we got to get your thoughts on this, Ryan, because I don't know where this even come from. Targi?
No,
Have you ever mentioned that one before?
I don't think he's mentioned Targi that much. No.
it's a very underrated, unknown game.
So anyway,
does it
Ryan's
play
been going
2-player? I'm thinking it plays 2-player.
He's been going on about Targi for a while, and so that's intrigued me enough that I do want to give it a go. So
Kim would really enjoy it.
yeah, probably. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, put it under the Christmas tree this season.
Yeah, I have Targi. I mean, everything that you said you talked about it. You did a review about it. I think you talked.
Ian,
about
you don't even need to
expansion.
play it ahead of time. Just go on it blind.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be disappointed.
Oh, yeah, that's a fun game. Absolutely. Cool. Cool. We're at number 3 now. Top three. Well, this one, and this is one of those, I don't know why I don't have it. This is from Ryan's collection. This is a Rosenberg. This is a polyomino thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this requires a 4x10 table. And it's a feast for Odin.
It's a feast, all right.
Yeah. I love everything Rosenberg. And I like the puzzles. I like the theme. Right there, Ryan, you fill in the blanks for anyone who's interested in Feast for Odin.
AP inducing. It has, so right off the get-go,
choices do you have? Like
so it's a worker placement game.
Yeah.
And there are 36 action spots that you can assign your workers to. And they all do something. They're kind of clumped into zones, so they're kind of like similar things, but they all do something different for you.
Yeah.
And it all depends on how you want to tackle your game. So that's why it has, much like Agricola, it has these occupation type of cards, which will kind of lead you down, kind of give you a kind of something to focus on, because there is so much to do in the game.
You need a thread to follow. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of gives you some ideas of what you can do kind of better
now
throughout your gameplay.
The only thing that intimidates me is the teach, which is taken care of by you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as far as understanding, I mean, like the Suchi, right? It's not going to take me much to figure out what he's trying as a designer, trying to communicate to me.
Yeah. After I would say about 2 rounds, you would have the flow, and I would say we would play through 2 rounds and then just reset the game right back to the square one, because then you're like, okay, I know what I need. I need to know what to do.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go.
Yeah.
The really kind of cool thing is that the game, you start with like a bazillion negative points, and how you're going to score points is by being able to cover up those negative points with the polyomino tiles.
Yeah. Okay.
And then once you're kind of like, you got your main board, then you can go out and explore islands that have negative points all over them.
And sandboxy, from what I understand too.
Yeah, it's kind of like pick something and go with it. Are you going to be all about like breeding animals, or are you going to be all about pillaging and raiding? Are you going to be sailing to other islands? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I so want to play this game. Cool.
It is a table hog.
Cool. A feast for Odin. Ryan, what's your number 3?
Number 3 is a little known solo game that is in Norm's collection that I had at one point, and then I traded it away because the trade was too good to pass off. And now I want to play it again, and that's Mage Knight by Vlada Shavatel. People talk about it like it's like the greatest solo game of all time, and I'm really kicking myself for trading it away. But I did get a pretty good Imperial Assault deal from that one, and I like Star Wars, so it was kind of
and
an
I
easy
have it,
trade.
so yeah,
and you have it, so I'm going to definitely try it. try it
Yeah,
out. I'm not
yeah.
going to talk about much.
This, I mean, it's basically a dungeon diver exploration done with a Euro card system.
Mhm.
And I mean, the good thing it's a solo game, because you talked about AP inducing. There's times where I've sat down with my card, looking at the map puzzle, trying to figure out how am I not going to get completely decimated, right? What's the, where do I go? Right. And there's times where I'll just stand there for 15 minutes going, no, maybe, no. I think I had a
hit the
seizure.
reset button. Hit
Oh,
the
yeah.
reset button.
Yeah, it's
hit
like,
the reset button.
yeah, my eye just kind of rolled into the back of my skull, in a good way, in a totally good way. But yeah, no, this is one of those. It's like get your brain thinking cap on, because there's a lot of cognitive load with this one, right?
Okay.
So yeah,
Mage Knight. I want to play it.
good pick, Ian.
Okay, so this one's coming from Norm's collection. And I know that Norm is a fan of The Expanse. And so this isn't The Expanse, but it's something similar.
What?
From not that long ago, 2018. And it's called Space Corp.
Oh, GMT.
So
2025.
When this came out, I had thought about picking this one up, but I just didn't know how often I'd be able to play it. What really intrigues me, so it's a space exploration game, but what intrigues me is that it goes through an advancement of boards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're
very similar to the Colonists, where you face to face to face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're starting like in the Earth, right? And the planets around Earth, and they spread out to the further solar system, and then do you spread out beyond the solar system?
The generational speaking, the more your, let's say, global intelligence and progress goes, that's, as you know, as you keep flipping the boards, and with that you keep researching and exploring the deeper parts of space. And I mean, like the first board, you're dealing with, you know, understandable numbers, understandable distances. I mean, as crazy as these distances are, but as you get into the deeper games, it's like, okay, this mission is going to take me 8 years, or, you know, there's just this exponential component to the time and the resources that it just becomes, you know, balancing equations kind of thing. But that being said, the theme is applied so delicately and so refined wise that they, with their experience, because their GMT is a wargaming company, right?
Yeah.
So they take their knowledge base and they've created this understandable thematic interpretation of systems they are really good at, right? In regards to that chit system and the, you know, the graphs and the looking, if I need to do this, I got to do this and this and this. There is some randomness because you're exploring space and you flip a chit over and it's like, oh, that's not what I need, but okay, I have to learn how to take this and make it work, right? As far as that puzzle goes, I think, yeah. And again, this is one of those, don't recommend playing it more than solo, because it'll be like, okay, someone got like catatonic on me because they're thinking about their turn, right? But yeah, if the theme interests you and the obvious pedigree behind the publishing company, as far as their legitimacy into, you know, this is going to be a deep game, or, you know, this is be like, make sure you read this rule book, make sure you understand what you're doing. Now, here we go, right?
Yeah, because I'm a big science fiction fan, so I think that it definitely intrigues me.
Yeah. See, and I also have Leaving Earth, which is another number cruncher. I mean, I've heard some people call Leaving Earth Calculator, the game. But yeah, no, this is, out of the two, I think I have more preference to Space Corp than I do to the other. So yeah, absolutely.
Whenever people say the name, I always think it says Space Court. which would also be a really cool game.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. So we're on number two. Number two. There's a joke there, isn't there?
Stop, Norm.
All right. So this one's coming from Ian's collection. And it satisfies the need for a 4X game, but doesn't take all day.
Okay, so are we talking
We're talking Eclipse.
space? Are we talking sea?
We're talking Eclipse. I
Yeah,
want to
okay.
play some Eclipse. I've played TI4, right?
And you've enjoyed it.
And I've enjoyed it. I think I played it 3 times and I've enjoyed it, except for nobody at the table understanding that they should never trust Ryan. Adam, I got your back, buddy. But Eclipse, I've heard so many people say the same itch gets scratched, but you don't have 8-hour investment in it. So I love Sandbox.
Games can still take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not the time commitment of a Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
In Twilight Imperium isn't really sandboxy because you have objectives. Everyone's targeting objectives that are presented at the board. Where Eclipse, I've heard that it's very much like Western Legends, where it's a sandbox thing. It's like, you want to do this, go do this. You want to do that, go do that. Now
Yeah,
again,
you really got to play to your race's ability.
Yeah.
To the best possible.
Now
there's
Ian,
a Euro-based economic system, I guess you could say, that I think you would find intriguing.
Okay.
And you have to like explore in order to build your economy. And I think you like appreciate
and
that.
I really like the building of your ship.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really kind of fun too.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, Eclipse. I totally want some of that space fun. Ryan.
Okay. So my number 2 was going to be Leaving Earth, Norm, but then I realized that would have had more games from Norm's list than from Ian's list.
Well, thanks for the mention.
So to balance it out, this is from Ian's list, and this is a game that I can't believe that I haven't played. And we've already mentioned that I need to play this game. It's a Friedman Freeze classic from 2004, which is Power Grid. Very Barrage-like.
Yeah.
And I still can't believe to this day I haven't played Power Grid.
Yeah,
and
me neither. I keep thinking that we have played it before, but I guess not.
Yeah, no. And I'm just going to leave it at that. It's very one of those quintessential, probably a quintessential Euro-based economic game. It's very classic in design. A lot of people, it gets compared to lots of things, or things are compared to it.
Yeah.
And yet it's still very much its own game. Like it's very Power Grid. Like there's not a whole lot of other games that can be that are Power Grid. That's for sure.
And it breaks only because in English Power Grid does not start with an F, but apparently in German, whatever the German pronunciation of Power Grid is, starts with an F. So it does keep his F titles of his games in line. But yeah, I want to play Power Grid. It's other than my number 1 game that I need to play. We're going to play that game first, and then we're going to come back and play Power Grid.
Okay.
Cool. Ian, round out this number 2.
Number 2 is from Norm's list. And it's not a game I would have thought of if it weren't for Norm. So
what?
Convince me that I want to try this one. And it has one of the best mustaches in all games. It's Hansa Teutonica.
Oh yeah.
So
Hansa.
You've intrigued me.
It's the worst board game cover in the world. Yeah.
I don't even really know what it's about or how it plays, other than what you've mentioned here and there, but I'm intrigued. I want to give it a go. See what the fuss is about.
I have no problems talking up this game. This is the granddaddy of network building games. Like El Grande is the granddaddy of area control games. This thing has networking figured out in beautiful cube pushing, no color to the board, bland. I think the brown is called bland brown. Yeah.
I think what Ian would be really drawn to this game is the player interaction,
the displacement
of the displacement and the moving of the pieces around. I think that's what's really going to draw Ian into this game, is that it's definitely not multiplayer solitaire. You have to be paying attention to what other people are doing, and you're going to screw people over. And
but I've never considered it screwing people over, because it's part of that game where it's you get in the way. That's part of the strategy of the game. Is you want to finish this route? Oh, my dude is right there. And I know for a fact that if you really want this, you're going to have to displace me, which means I get a free move in an adjacent road, right? So you're basically looking at the guy going, you want to finish it? Boot me out, or go focus somewhere else, right? And a beautiful part of that game is, if that's your strategy and you're not getting bumped out, well, there's a helicopter move where you can just get rid of pieces. So there could be like who passive aggressively is going to wait the next guy out, right? And these little battles all over the board in control of networks. Oh, so delicious. Yes. I will show you this in a heartbeat.
All right.
Hansa Teutonica. Yeah.
Okay, Norm, what is the number one game that you want to play from our collections?
Now, I'm not cheating, because I already know the same game.
Yeah.
But it's got two different shells.
Pick mine. It's better.
Well, if we request this idea of, well, hierarchy wise, you have to play this one timeline because it came out first. That is Terra Mystica Gaia Project. I've heard. Pick mine first. Either or, I don't care. I so want to play Terra Mystica, and
start with Terra Mystica.
Yeah, I mean, one is fantasy realm, and the other is a science realm, and both themes appeal to me at the same level. The efficiency part of both appeals to me the same level. Now, I've often heard people getting arguments about which one's better, Gaia Project or Terra Mystica. A lot of people say the Gaia Project has a streamlining and it trims the corners off of Terra Mystica. Other people say those corners need to be there, right? So that's why I'm putting this out there for both of you guys.
Yeah, Terra Mystica. You want to play Terra Mystica first. I'm going to put that right there.
Drop the mic. Now, again, I've never seen so many trees sacrificed to the components of a game like Terra Mystica. I think that's basically you get a Home Depot card when you buy that game.
The box is pretty full.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's my number one is Terra Mystica and Gaia Project.
Good choice.
Sweet.
Good choice.
Yay.
So my number one, both of you own this game. So just fulfilling my requirement of keeping it equal.
Even Steven.
But you guys talk about this game a lot.
I think I know what
Jenga.
It's a GMT game.
Oh yeah.
About the description: an ice age approaching, which animals will best propagate, migrate, and adapt.
You got
dominant species.
Yeah.
Dominant species. I've never played it. And again, it's just one of those ones again that Ian, it's just never worked out for me attending the same game night. But it checks off lots of things, even though people out there say that I'm not a fan of GMT games. I think this is the one that would
bring you in.
Bring me into the mold.
Yeah.
Though Ian, I did like that deck builder GMT game that we played that one night. I can't remember what it was called, but I think I do remember one that I really liked.
Ian, you talk up dominant species.
Yeah. It's I mean, the problem is that we don't play it very often because it's a longer game. But it's.
Yeah, I'm not one to shy away from long games.
No, that's true. You're not. But
take that.
It very much fits the evolution theme. Like it really is a survival of the fittest game. And I think you'd like the worker placement aspect to it, and how you really got to think out where you're actually placing your action pawns.
And I think
Mhm.
math guy would like the order of operations in relation
Yeah.
to the worker placement.
Absolutely, because it very much, because you got to think about who's doing what before you and who's doing what after you, so you can plan your
And what
turns
action
accordingly.
precedes or follows
Mhm.
the next two, because it's like
Mhm.
now he might be doing this, but predation, wait till the spiders come out, baby, right? So
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, Ryan, yes.
Yep. So in order, I want to play Dominant Species first, and then we'll play Twilight Imperium and the Colonists.
There you go.
There's like 3 weekends right there.
There's making up for isolation in a big way. All right, Ian, take us home.
Well, I'm not as diplomatic, so this one's from Ryan's list, but it is one.
Oh, I'm out here.
But it is one that Norm has already mentioned.
Ooh, crossover.
So, yeah, it is. Okay, Norm, I'm going to make you guess. So, which one did you mention that you think I'm going to mention?
Let me look at, and it's from Ryan's
From
list.
Ryan's
Hey,
collection.
I'm only looking at On Mars.
Oh, it's not that one.
No, Barrage or
No,
Feast
but
for
I-
Odin.
It's Feast for Odin.
Is it Feast for Odin?
I really want to give that one a go. I've been thinking about getting that one for a while. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet.
It's a beefy game, and it carries a heavy price tag too. It's an
It
investment.
is, yeah. So I don't know. I just think it looks really good. But then at the same time, I don't really know much about it. So
Yeah. So
but-
it's just that at that you would like that there's so many things that you can do.
see, that's what I
in this
think.
game.
That's what I think I would like. Yeah.
And do you want to go the more resource management route? Do you want like I said, like there's so many different strategies that you can go with in this game. So yeah, and the gameplay length for the size of the game, it's only like a 90-minute game.
Oh, really?
And in the end. So and it's one of those games too, you as the game progresses, you just get more actions. Like at the end of like the next round, you're going to get a worker. Oh, and then 2 more rounds, oh, you're going to get another. So you kind of get more workers as the game progresses. You don't get any more action spots. There's already 36 to begin with, but you just you get more workers to do things with
Okay.
as it goes on.
So there we go. So I think there's another game that all 3 of us could play because we're all interested in it. So I think we got our 2022 planned.
Yeah.
We're
We've got
ready
our
to
next
game again.
3 years of gaming done, figured
Yeah.
out, planned out. Cool.
And
Well-
lots of these games that we mentioned weren't like brand new games. Like lots of them are older
Mhm.
titles that really intrigued us.
Yeah.
You betcha.
Yeah, like Zolkin Village. Yeah, you're right. I have some background stuff going on in my list. Cool. So, I had a lot of fun with this topic. It was great having.
I'm very depressed now because I know I'm not going to actually get to play these ones for a bit.
Well, we didn't want to bring that. We got to think positively. We got to think optimistically. It's like, okay,
Can I play any of these games online?
Yeah. There's a few. Yeah.
There's a few.
Targi can play online. I don't know. Have we talked about Targi much?
Have we talked about Marvel Champions?
Oh yeah, that would be fun online. All right, cool. Well, we're getting, of course, let's wrap this up. We're getting to that time where we're going to say thank you very much for following us through our little journey of each other's collections, and very happy to present these ideas and games to everybody. I'm your host, Norm,
I'm Ryan.
I'm Ian.
and we'll catch you later.
This has been an episode of Cardboard Conjecture, and we are Bridge City Board Gamers. And you can find us on Facebook at Bridge City Board Gamers Saskatoon. You can find us on YouTube, Bridge City Board Gamers. We are also on Twitter at BC Board Gamers. And of course, Board Game Geek Guild number 3039.